What's up, folks? I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, and I'm coming off another big League of Legends DFS win, a $10,000 win on DraftKings, splitting the top prize in the big GPP over there. This 2 weeks after my big $50,000 win in their big GPP. So I'm back again today to give you some DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's League of Legends DFS slate, LPL and LCK for both FanDuel and DraftKings. Remember, I do write up our picks, lineup strategies, roster construction advice every single slate, every single day for LPL and LCK. That's occupyfantasy.com. That's the daily plug. It's free, and the link is in the description below. Every night at 10 p.m. Eastern, we also do a live Twitch stream where we answer your questions. Again, that is free. Twitch.tv/occupyfantasy. That link is also in the description. So if you like our content and you don't want to miss any of our videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. And if you like what we do, give us a thumbs up. And any comments you have, questions you have, concerns, issues with tonight's slate, lineup help, comment below. Certainly will help you out before the slate starts at 2 a.m. Eastern. So let's jump into it here. And again, this is the screenshot of the win a couple of days ago. But we like to look from a high level at what the betting odds are telling us in League of Legends DFS. Again, we don't do any in-depth statistical player analysis. There are some people who do that and they are successful. That is not what we focus on. We focus on roster constructions, betting odds, and what the best way is to have unique lineups and high-risk contests for League of Legends. So, like I said, we like to start with the betting odds. This is Pinnacle Sports, one of the sharpest sports books in the world. And what we'll notice tonight, a couple things. We have three really interesting games in the LPL. The first is BLG being a minus 1250 favorite over V5. So BLG we expect to be popular, right, as a minus 1200 favorite. Then we scroll down a little bit. We have FPX as a minus 503 favorite. Normally, we expect them to be popular as well as a big favorite. But then, most importantly, we have TES versus E-Star. And it's basically a pick'em, a coin flip. ES is minus 120. But the big thing about this is that their kill total is 28.5 compared to 24.5 for both FPX and LGD. And actually, BLG's gone up a bit. It's now 25.5. Between BLG and V5. So this big kill total we've seen on recent slates, that is the biggest driver of ownership in League of Legends DFS. Let's go down here to 28.5. Yeah, so TES, E-Star, with the likelihood to have the highest kills on the slate, expect ownership to go there. So what do we think about if there are two big favorites and a game that's a coin flip where it's a high kill total game? Well, our first run of ownership projections that we've been posting in our Discord channel. We haven't officially released them to the public yet, but we have been posting them in the Discord. And they've been pretty spot on, correlation of near 90%. So really good idea of who's going to be highly owned and who's going to be lowly owned in DFS contests. And the first run basically has these four teams kind of split 20% roughly each. Normally we don't see that, but because of the varying factors here, two large favorites, two high kill total teams, TES and E-Star, being relatively evenly matched, TS being cheaper, they'll probably actually get a little bit higher ownership because of that, even though they're a slight underdog. So it makes for some interesting decisions if the top four teams are roughly 20% owned. Let's go over to LCK. And as we see here, we have GRF, HLE. HLE is a slight favorite, minus 180. Kill total only 21.5. Then the other game, DRX, massive favorite, minus 530, minus 535. They'll probably be the fourth or fifth team in ownership, just based on their likelihood to win. And the kill total is not too bad, 22.5. So DRX likely some higher upside than we normally see for LCK teams. All right, so we take a look at betting odds. We think we know who the high-owned teams are going to be. Let's jump over to DraftKings to see if we can figure out what type of lineups we can make before we dig any deeper. So I'm bringing it up here and just looking. What I like to do. Let me scroll up a bit here. So normally high kill total teams we want to get into our lineups. Low risk lineups we want to maximize win percentage. And we would do that tonight with BLG, right, minus 1200, FPX, minus 500, DRX, minus 500. But do you really feel comfortable knowing that if you play a combination of those three teams in your low risk lineup, that you're leaving out the highest total game on the board? It's kind of rough in my eyes because I know I personally wouldn't want to be up against head-to-head where they have TES 4-man stacked or ES 4-man stacked. I would be nervous as hell. However, if you play one of these teams, it's also hard to feel safe because it's a 50% chance the game only goes 2 games. The series only goes 2 games. And each team only has a 50% chance of winning. So you could be left with a 4-man stack that ends up losing, and that's not what you want in low risk contests. So it's for me personally, without ownership pulling in one way or not being heavy in one direction, makes it really tough to play low risk lineups tonight. I'm sure you can find a way, and if you find some inexperienced players, you can certainly try to target them. But for us here at Occupy Fantasy, we think it's a very hard low risk night, and actually think it's a really good high risk night. And so if we think about that, so TESES, 20% ownership. The big thing about this that makes it really interesting and the decision you're going to have to make tonight is with this game in high risk contests. You're playing GPPs, you're playing satellites, leagues, quintuple ups, whatever it may be, right? TESES. And if we look at the pricing here, all right, unsurprisingly, ES is the highest at every single position, right? Every position. I mean, there's massively high. Wink is 12.9 at captain, one of the highest, if not the highest, captain prices we've seen all season. 12.9, that's nuts. So the first thing is, if ES smashes and they are the highest scoring team on the slate, there are very few combinations that fit with them. You'd have to go with LCK underdog, really big underdog like V5. That's the only way to optimally stack ES. And that kind of limits your options. And if they do go off, you're likely getting duplicated because of the lack of options that you can stack with them. So you're really fighting against a select group of people, and it's really not what you want in high-risk contests, right? What about TES? If you look here, they're not even listed. They're fourth highest price, despite being one of the highest kill total teams on the slate. Now, the issue with TES is they fit with literally every team. Any team you want, you could probably fit with TES optimally. 4-3 stacking, 3-4 stacking, whatever it may be. So that also makes it really tough because if TES is a top scoring team or a top 2 scoring team, their combination is going to be covered, right? There's going to be multiple lineups that are stacking 4-3 with TES, no matter if it's BLG, no matter if it's HLE, APK, like all these teams are going to be stacked with TES, and that also makes it really difficult. So what do? I have this kind of crazy idea that you don't play either TES or ES tonight in high-risk contests for maximum upside, to avoid duplication, maximum leverage. Seems really crazy. Now, if you're like, Brian, you're absolutely nuts. There's no way I'm fading a 28.5 kill total game in League of Legends when there's only 5 games. TES and ES, I'm going to play those teams. All right, that's great. So if you decide to do that, it's really one way or the other. Either you don't play them at all, or you go really heavy on those teams in your lineups. You play TES, you just go all in. All your lineups have TES, or all your lineups have ES, whatever it may be. You can't pick and choose here. You can't just try to play some TES, some ES. The way the pricing is set up, the way people's lineups will shake out, you have to make these kind of decisions. And this is where we try to bring value in League of Legends DFS. We're not looking at, all right, who's the highest projected ADC? What's this particular guy going to do? We're thinking about what the field's going to do, and we're thinking about what we need to do to get past the field in certain scenarios. So I hope this has helped help you think about how to think about League of Legends DFS in a different way. Again, we do this every single night in the Daily Plug, occupyfantasy.com. It's always free. We talk about general League of Legends roster construction tips, sure. We give you the starting lineups, and then we talk about that particular night, what's the best way to play low-risk contests and what's the best way to play high-risk contests. So we'll go way deeper into this strategy tonight. It's normally posted around 9 p.m. Eastern. So occupyfantasy.com, it's in the description below. You can check that out. And then you can read that, digest it, and then prepare your questions because Moose and I will go on the live Twitch stream at 10 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/occupyfantasy. Answer any questions you have. Again, all this is free until we get some North American sports back in our life. So again, if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe below so you get all of the latest videos. Give us a thumbs up if you appreciate what we've done here. And again, any questions you have, you can tweet at us. You can see up there, Occupy Fantasy. You can follow me at BrianJesterFF. You can comment below, holler at us in Twitch, whatever it may be. We're here to answer your questions. So good luck tonight. Be on the lookout for the Daily Plug later, and we'll talk to you soon.